Welcome to episode 3384 of In Touch with iOS, the show that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, Vision Pro, Mac, and related technologies. I am your host, Dave Ginsburg, and we're trying something a little different this week. I've been itching to get started with Ecamm Live, and if you're watching the live stream right now, we are live on Ecamm, and we've got a great view of folks, and I'm going to be able to produce the show a little more. It's going to be a lot of fun here. So, and I got some great folks here like I always do. First off, let's start off with Chuck Joyner. How you doing, Chuck?
I'm good, Dave. Nice. I love the background. And
Yeah,
it's very, very subtle. It's very appropriate. So congratulations on trying this.
yeah, we're going to give it a shot and be able to do this. So, and also here is Jeff Gamet. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing all right, and I'm glad to be here. And ooh, fancy effects, Dave.
Yeah, I'm bringing you guys in
Really
full screen when you talk.
A notch. Very nice.
This is also here is Marty Jencius. How you doing, Marty?
Good, Dave. It was kind of a light day, so it felt like a Friday on a Thursday for me, and so I'm excited about being here tonight.
Excellent. Also here is Jill McKinley. How you doing, Jill?
Oh, I'm doing great, and today was so rough that it feels like it's Monday all over again.
There you go.
Boy, howdy.
How do you know that? And last but certainly not least, Eric Bolden. He is here. How you doing? And you got another bird behind you there.
Right behind my head. Got to move out of the way for the kingfisher. Oh, this is so neat. I'm all involved in looking at the spots and that's exciting.
Yeah, this is kind of fun. So we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. Plenty of things to talk about. Very active with beta, and we know that the event was announced. We'll talk a little bit about that, and we'll get down to a lot of other things here. But first off, we'll talk a little bit about Vision Pro this week. Wasn't much to talk about this week, other than the Apple did release the Vision Pro developer beta, and that is out. So I don't think there really was much else to talk about other than that there wasn't much added. Was there, Marty?
Really nothing at all. Stability and bug fixes in comparison to Beta 7. Users would probably not notice most of those changes. And for developers, they suggest the developers at this point rerun anything they're developing to make sure that what was taken care of in Beta 7 is still taken care of in Beta 8, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Anything you saw, Eric?
No, it's it just feels like it's getting closer and closer, and just like little teeny changes. And so yeah, it's no Jupiter yet, but other than that, it's looking good.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the developer notes in the show notes. I don't think you're going to see much when it comes to that. A lot of developer stuff, but we're getting close here. We've got a couple of weeks away from the event, which we'll talk about here shortly, and we'll just go ahead and move on. Beta this week, we have Apple did see the 8th betas of the iOS 26 as well as iPadOS 26. Developers have installed it, and as we know, it's got all the features. There really hasn't been much of a change. They're talking about this is going to be probably near final. I would venture to say the release candidate is not too far away, as we have September 9th as the event that's coming up here soon. So we'll talk about that in a bit here. But there's definitely not much when it comes to that. They also released the public beta. Beta 5 is the public beta, so there's 5 betas already for public. The public that is able to install it. So you have that as well, as well as this article here was iOS 26 beta testing is likely complete after as Apple has seeded this beta 8, and Apple didn't go beyond 8 betas for iOS 18. It's 17, 16, 15, or even so on. So this is kind of a trend I'm noticing here. So I don't see that unless there's some super big bugs, they're going to probably let beta 8 continue for probably a week or maybe two. I'd say like a week because the event will be a week from this coming Tuesday as we record. So we'll see where that goes. Anybody have any issues with iOS 26, iPadOS 26?
Oh, flawless.
I'm still seeing battery issues. However, I'm calling that out only because I know we're running beta and there's a lot of debug code that's running. So the issues that I'm seeing now, I think, are all related to just debug code running and not major bugs. So it's this 7 and 8 have been pretty good for me.
Okay. Yeah, me too. I've been running it on my iPhone 16e, and it's just been running flawless. There really hasn't been much of any issues. How about you, Marty? Anything out of the ordinary for you on any of the betas?
No, not at all. It felt that I was having some trouble with having to restart my phone and things like that with previous betas, but that has fallen off. So it's just consistent without any problems.
Okay. And we got watchOS beta 26, iOS watchOS 26, as well as tvOS 26. That's out as well. Nothing earth-shattering there when it comes to that. Who knows? We might be seeing some new Apple TVs, I'm hoping. It's been long time now, 3 years since the last release of an Apple TV. So we're hoping on that one, but yeah, we'll see where that goes. And there was also another story here with it's not loading. This was interesting. The couple icons that you want to notice that you won't recognize after updating. Let me see if I can bring this up. I'm having a little trouble with the browser here, but no, we'll work on that later. But yeah, this was in 9 to 5 Mac. It's iOS 26 versus iOS 18. 5 new icons you may not recognize after updating. So as we've said, iOS 26 is updating soon, and you want to see some of the new icons. This article is in the show notes. AirDrop looks completely different redesign we've talked about before, and I know, Jeff, you're going to appreciate all these icons that have changed. And I'd like to hear your comments when I go through all this. The camera icon looks about the same, but comparatively speaking to one of the old Apple Watch icons from years past in iOS, the games icon has changed quite a bit. It's got four little colors here. Image playground is a little different. Then, of course, you got which is also going to be gone, is the fully canine image that was replaced by the standard Apple Intelligence logo, which we had before. Preview looks totally different now. It's got the little scope with the magnifier as opposed to the scope with the background. That's totally different. What do you think on that, Jeff?
It's a loop.
The loop. I'm sorry.
A scope. And
sorry. Excuse me.
Just letting you know. Not giving you a hard time.
No, I was wrong. I was wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's simpler, but I prefer the older preview icon because it's always conveyed more information to us as opposed to just having a loop. So the new icon, is it telling me that this is an app that zooms in on things? Is it a magnifier? If you know, because you've been following along with app versions over the years, you can pick up on, that's just the loop from preview. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a cool looking icon. I just don't think it's appropriate. I'm having problems with here. I feel like Apple is trading away useful visual cues and icons for something that looks simpler and cleaner. Simpler and cleaner oftentimes is the right choice, but if you get that at the loss of useful information, then no, it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Jeff, I would look at that preview icon and think it had something to do with photography. Because if I'm correct on what that object is, it's what you use to look at uh, negatives and look at spec sheets of photos that you've made, and I don't see preview as representing that at all. It's kind of misleading.
That's a really good point because I hadn't even thought about it from the photography side. For me, it's from the print side because, and I'm going to totally pull a Dave here. Within arm's reach, I've got my loop.
There you go.
And, yeah. So for me, this is looking at printed material, which can be photographs as well. But I need to check registration on a multi-ink print. And Jill, your reaction tells me you have dealt with this special hell that is having to check, do like press checks and stuff.
I used to run a 4-color magazine, and yes, I used one of those, and absolutely, yeah.
Yep, and yeah, and you
and no one
check
knows what
the
that
screens, and yeah, Jill, you're my people. So anyhow, the loop with the image and Marty just really validated that for me. The loop with the image makes a lot more sense than just the loop.
Yep. Chuck, any thoughts on this?
I'm kind of with Jeff a little bit. In a number of things, not just the OS, but I see iconography being slapped up so that there's an icon, and I want the icon to tell me something or be representative of something. And so some of these, I think Jeff said it well. It's not quite conveying all the information I would like. I get the desire and the need to refresh the look of a little bit of things, not at the expense though of making them confusing. So I am unlike some of the folks here. I've only seen the articles. I have not seen them in their native habitat of the new iOS or the new OS or OSs. So I'm reserving judgment, but I don't want to sound grumpy because I haven't seen it. But
right.
Just this idea that everything suddenly has to have an icon. I'm trying to think. There was something I saw at CES this year. There was an icon. It's like, what is that? And I had to ask. And once they told me, it's like, okay, I guess I can see it. And I'd be maybe it'll come back to me as to what it was. But it just I think we've gone emoji and icon crazy.
Yeah.
Chuck, a well done, well designed icon is super useful because
Agreed.
Yeah, because it conveys useful information. AirDrop has never conveyed useful information, and the updated version is just a slicker version of something that conveys no information. The new camera icon, I think that one's fine. The old one was actually a camera,
right?
But the camera lens, I think people get that, so that one's okay. The games one, Dave, you had no idea. This is what you opened up.
I knew
what you unleashed.
No, I knew. That's why I put this in here.
The games icon. If you know it's a games icon, you can get it. It's like, oh yeah, there's rocket ships and stuff in games, but maybe something like a joystick would have been more appropriate.
Maybe 3 icon matches, because that's what everyone plays, are 3 match icons. Like
there you go.
Booze.
A game control, free booze, game controller. Something that that better conveyed gaming. And Image Playground. The, The new thing, I mean, I get it because it's branding, but if the branding doesn't convey through an icon what it is that you're doing, then it's not a useful icon. So image playground. Well, I didn't like what we had before with like a little cartoon character. Oh, I guess it's a little dog in it. It actually conveyed what it is better than what we have now.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add to this?
I was
Yeah.
just
Go ahead. Glitter.
So starting with preview, now we have an icon that's basically a utility. We used to have an icon that said it's a viewer with some utilities in it. So it's easier to find the icon, especially like on a phone at a distance in a really small space, but that's the only benefit of it. Yeah, so it lost something. Image playground, I think I almost like the newer icon that has no meaning over what I thought was a cat, but I guess it's a dog. Because I think that the old icon kind of restricted it to only cartoony things. And if that's all they're ever going to do, fine. But the new one, I think they can expand and do new stuff. I'm hopeful it has some growth to it. It's not as limiting.
Yeah, and the new icon represents the amorphic bubble that shows up when you're trying to create something. So that makes it a little bit more generalized. You just have to make the association, having used the app, to be able to use that's the amorphic bubble app that takes me into do the image editing that you want to do. I think the difficulty now, and I'm realizing this every time I'm trying to put together a brand for the last couple of times I've done it for podcasts or vodcasts, it's hard to come up with an image that is distinct from anything else, that doesn't make it look like something else. And I think Jeff was approaching that conversation when he said icons are really important, because once people lock in on the image, then they lock in on your brand. But I think with the amount of apps out there, many of them doing similar things, cut and paste, you've got scissors and you've got a glue jar. I mean, the whole idea of trying to find something that best represents a app that's going to do the same thing that 20 other apps does is really difficult in terms of creating a branding. So maybe they go to these kind of symbolic and not direct representations of what the app does.
Yeah. And we had a discussion on one of the other shows about the fact that different generations see these things differently. A phone icon like we all grew up with, everybody on this panel, has almost no meaning to, a kid today. So that's where I have a little bit of sympathy for some of the icon designers trying to figure out, okay, how will people understand this, now and going forward?
My thought on it was that I like looking at people's desktops. I don't know why. I like to see how they organize their phone. And it seems to me that there's a lot of people out there who like to have these monochromic? I don't know. Jeff will know the right word, where they make them all gold with white and it looks dramatic. Monochromatic, right. And these are easier to do that with than the ones that they had before. And there's just a lot of people who like these really dramatic two-tone things. And it's not me. I like the colors. I will say that I didn't like the new one with the replaced cat. I don't know what that is. In fact, I looked at ChatGPT. I'm like, wait, is that ChatGPT's logo? And I'm like, okay, no, that's not it at all. But
oh, that's the problem right there.
Yeah.
And you're probably not the only person that has thought that and will think that when the official release comes out.
Yeah. And then Game Center, I never understood Game Center. What are the color dots? Are you paint drops? Are you what are you anyway?
Same. Yep. It was a really bad icon that's been replaced with an icon that tells me I can get a fly to the moon.
Right. But that was my thought.
All right. Well, we got some.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I got to add one thing, Dave, because I'm looking at the image playground, the old image playground versus the new image playground, and now that's one that is really difficult to convey because we just haven't. I mean, yes, it's out there and it's been out there for a little while, but even the old icon was okay. That didn't really tell me anything. The new icon doesn't tell me a whole lot either. As far as image playground, but I absolutely am not smart enough to make a suggestion and say this is what would it be good to have. I don't know, a paintbrush on a swing or something. I mean, I don't know what you would do with image playground except
I've got that image in my head.
Yeah, you're welcome, Jeff. But something. In other words, create something and then stick with it.
Yeah.
Create something unique and just say, okay, this is what the image playground icon is. Now I've got this weird little something staring at me.
Yeah. I was thinking of avatar. A lot of people like to make avatars that they can put on their social media and things like that. And so I thought of a person with the little farm hat on and a background in the back and maybe a paintbrush, but again, I don't think it looks good with the monochromatic icons if you get too detailed.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know.
Design is hard.
Design is hard.
Mm-hmm. This is why the save icon is still a floppy disk, and people don't associate it with a floppy disk anymore.
Right.
It's just the universal symbol for save.
That's true.
And that's fine, Jeff. That one's not abstract, but it's come to mean that. And if you change it, there's going to be a lot of adjustments and a lot of people calling tech support.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. One is a function essentially, and the other things we're talking about are apps.
That's true, but they're both symbols that convey information. So I guess that's my obtuse way of saying changing something just for the sake of changing isn't necessarily a good idea.
Yep.
100%.
Agree. All right. Great conversation about that. I love it. Jill, you put this article. I missed this one, but I'm glad you put it in here. This is about iOS 26 that you can remotely control iPhone camera with your AirPods. Apple's iOS 26 update brings an unexpected camera trick to the AirPods 4 and the AirPods Pro 2. The ability to control your iPhone photo and video capture using the AirPods stem gestures. The new camera remote feature essentially turns your wireless earbuds into a handy hands-free photography tool. And there's a good description of how it works. Have you tried this, Jill? Because you did share this with us. What if so? Let us know.
Yeah, I did not try it because the article I think came out today mid-work. But I was intrigued because primarily I've been a photographer for a very long time, and all of us remember setting up a camera on a tripod and then running back and then hoping you're in the right spot. And I thought, first they did it with the watch and now they're doing it with the AirPods. And I think it's just nice because people want to get good family pictures of everybody in the picture. And I thought, good for them to think of an easier way to make that happen. Although then now you have someone wearing their AirPods while in the family picture, but
yeah. Anybody else?
So if you trigger it, you can't just pull the AirPod out of your ear. It has to stay in.
Yeah.
For the picture to work.
I would think so. Because that's how it works.
I would think so too.
Because here's my logic, and I admit it's probably very flawed. You've got it in your ear. You do the gesture that initiates the countdown. So the countdown's happening on the phone. Take your AirPod out of your ear, the countdown's still happening on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think so. I think that'd probably work. I'll try it next time.
I just think this is possibly a great new way to spy on people without them knowing.
Okay.
Well, you can already trigger your camera with your watch.
That's
So
true.
this is just this just takes it to a little bit different level.
So
I wonder
instead,
how many people have watches
so
versus
instead of
AirPods.
just doing this at your watch at your wrist level, you just kind of reach a little farther to your ear and tap it instead, right?
Yeah. So
your
either
head is
in the
so far
picture,
up there.
you're holding your ear or you're staring down at your watch. The outcome, you decide which one you want.
Yeah, because you have to look at your watch, whereas on your AirPods, you just feel and do it.
But you can do the countdown on your watch. So if you look at it and it starts counting, then you put your arm down real quick.
Right, Marty's kind of right though. I mean, if you have the phone positioned somewhere, you could be just looking at your phone like you're reading it and stuff, and you just go like this, and they wouldn't even know you're recording them because they think that you're looking at your phone, and you just be going like this, and yeah, you're kind of right, but that it might be a secret video recording that they don't know about.
Oh, I would leave the room and do it.
Nice.
That's when the fun stuff happens when I leave the room.
Yeah, how many times have you done this, Marty? This is
the article just came out today. Cut me some slack.
But Marty, have you done the thing where you could put your AirPods in and then put your phone on the table and then walk out and then hear what they're saying about you at the table?
Ooh, no.
Yeah, I figured you'd like that.
Thanks.
That method works really, really well if you get stuck at a conference. One of the ones where they have the walls are open for ventilation at the bottom, but the room heats up because there's too many people. So you take your phone and shove it under the wall, have your AirPods in, and then you can hear the speaker while you're in the hallway at cool temperatures.
Oh, okay.
Really nice.
Right up to the point that somebody picks up the phone and runs with it.
Geez, I just came up with this crazy idea. You guys have turned it into an art form.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, this just seems kind of fun. So yeah.
No, I'm glad you added it. There's going to be. I mean, we'll be continuing on talking about all the new features and all the OSs. It's going to be plenty to discuss and plenty to look at. And again, I've been trying it for a while. I've got 2 devices on. I've had iPadOS 26 on my iPad. It's been flawless. I haven't had any issues, knock on wood, at all. And I have my iPhone 16e. It's been running the beta on my iPhone, so it's been great. So I have not seen any this beta cycle. There really hasn't been a ton of problems that I can recall as we've been talking about this. So
hands down, this has been the best. Yeah.
I think it's been pretty solid, this beta cycle. So, so then also, there was, Xcode got released. I know, Marty, we were talking about this on Vision Profiles here, where was Xcode going to come out? So it's, the latest version of, for Xcode 26. That's, beta 7, they're calling that one. It has a GPT-5 support and Claude integration in the Xcode. Those are some of the features that developers can take advantage of. With ChatGPT in Xcode now supporting GPT-5, developers can now choose to start conversations in 4.1, or 4.1. 5 is the default option with the 2 models to select from. And to optimize for quick, high-quality results, Apple says that it will work with most coding tasks. So when Xcode 26 officially launches, the app will support coding help with either ChatGPT or Claude, providing users the options to use their favorite chatbot. Developers are also going to be bringing their API keys to other providers to run local models on the Apple Silicon Macs. Marty, what do you think on this?
Well, I think it does a couple of things. I mean, the last update just earlier this week when we had a developer beta update on Vision OS to Vision OS 8, one of the complaints or the comparisons was they're still running the Xcode's beta 6.
Right.
So it's bumped it, this article and your information says it's been bumped up to Xcode, it's been bumped up to beta 7. The other thing that I find interesting is we've had discussions before on this show and also on Chuck's show about what's going to happen with Apple in terms of their AI and what are the possibilities of them purchasing a company or incorporating a bunch of companies or letting users choose what company they want to buy into to do their AI stuff. And it looks like they're building these options directly into X, or the possibility of them doing it directly into Xcode. So could be a hint of the future.
Yep. What your thoughts, Jeff?
I'm wondering if this addresses antitrust concerns or potential. Because Apple's building in support for developers to use competing products.
Yep.
And I'm also curious if this will give Apple the potential legal ammunition it might need should we see Gemini become part of the S-Lady. And at like an exclusive thing, and if Apple can say, yeah, but look, developers have access to multiple generative models, so we don't know what you're talking about. But regardless, I think it's good that if they're going to give developers access to generative models like this, that they should have access to more than one option.
Yeah, well, for sure. Any other thoughts on this? I mean, no, we're not developers here, so there must be much we can talk into it other than what they're doing here. Jill?
I think the thing I liked about it is Perplexity is great for deep research, you know, to do and get facts. And ChatGPT is good as a generalist. And Claude and the other ones are good for other purposes. And I think we're all not the same. And I think this gives everyone that opportunity. But I bet you're right on the antitrust. That made a lot of sense.
That does make sense.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Apple has a lot of really shrewd people.
Yeah.
They're thinking about this stuff.
Oh, no question.
Yeah, and Apple sees which way the wind is blowing. And, to continue to pursue things that are completely closed, or at least don't give some options to open them up, is just going to continue to bite them. And we can have the privacy discussion or the performance discussion, but at the end of the day, there's still entities and departments and governments that seem to want to take those advantages away or the benefits away in the name of giving everybody some access. So whoever said it, I think it makes a huge amount of sense to build it in and have it there and then implement it if needed or if desired.
Yeah.
I was having this one random thought about it is coming from the Microsoft world. The MO from a Microsoft person's world is Apple's closed. It's a closed garden. They just want their own thing and they don't want to do anything with anyone else. And to be honest with you, I have been surprised how that is not true at all. That Apple is very much in all these apps, all these devices. My friend, I gave her my old MacBook, and she said, well, I suppose I can't use a Logitech mouse with it. And I'm like, of course you can. Yeah. Of course you can. And she said, oh, I figured Apple would just let me only make Apple things. And I'm like, nope, that is completely wrong.
Look, I'm losing a
Microsoft isn't closed at all.
Right.
Yeah, Microsoft isn't closed at all.
No.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It was complete rumor on my part, and I was delighted to see how Apple is just not that.
Yep. All right, let's go ahead and move on to this week in touch with Mac. Apple did seed the 8th beta of macOS Tahoe developers for testing purposes. On the heels of the 7th beta. We know all the new things are in here, and we aligned all this stuff. I know the liquid glass redesign still is, not everybody's too excited about that. I know Jeff isn't very excited about it, right?
No. No. Okay, here's the problem that I see.
Mm.
And it's that there are visual issues with the whole interface design right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for people with vision issues, impairments, whatever, there are issues. The first thing that I did when I started using iPadOS 26 developer beta
Mhm.
was went and flipped the lever that decreases transparency and the other one that increases contrast. And it was because the whole liquid glass thing was there wasn't enough contrast, and I think there still isn't enough contrast. Anyhow, I'm kind of meandering around. So yeah, I'm having issues,
Yeah.
but they're personal issues, not developer issues.
Got it. Jill, you've been working. I think Tahoe's been running pretty solid. I've been running it on my work computer. I've had pretty much flawless use on it. And,
Yeah. Absolutely flawless. And in fact, this is my production Mac Mini, and I am going to upgrade it this weekend. I am so thrilled with it that I'm just going to upgrade it. I don't care anymore.
There you go.
I just realized a problem with the whole premise that I'm having with liquid glass on the Mac. And it's that all the developer beta stuff that I have seen has not been on a Retina display. Which does tell me that even if it's a lot better on a Retina display, Apple needs to take into account there's a lot of people that are using high-resolution displays that are not Retina.
Yep.
But Jeff, I refresh my memory. Apple doesn't have a great track record of recognizing a lot of the legacy machines from certain standpoints. They're building for the current and the future, as opposed to, I mean, if you have a legacy machine and it's old, then okay, you're just going to have to put up with it maybe not being so good, or not being quite as crisp or whatever, because we're building for the future. And it's been a good thing, and sometimes it's a bad thing.
That's true. And crazy thing is, the point you just brought up is one that I hadn't even been thinking about at all. And that's because all of the developer beta playing around stuff that I've done, it's been on external displays. So I wasn't even thinking about older machines. I was just thinking about all the people that are using displays that are external that are not an Apple branded display.
Mm-hmm.
But your point is valid.
Yep. All right.
I've been validated by Jeff Gamet. I feel so good.
Mic drop, go home. It's Miller time.
Oh, yes.
Going home. I'm out of here.
So other thing we could say is macOS Tahoe has added these 3 new apps to your Mac. The journal is now being brought over to the Mac for the first time. It arrived on iPhone in iOS 17.2 back in 2023. It's been exclusive to iOS ever since, but it's coming to the Mac in macOS Tahoe and also the iPad. So finally they're bringing that. I haven't been much of a user of that. I don't know about you guys, but
there's been no point to use it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Up till now.
Yeah. I think that I would have preferred this app to start on Mac OS.
Same.
Because that's where people do their journaling, at least my generation thinks about journaling that way. They don't think about doing it on the phone, or I don't, and I don't think about doing it on an iPad necessarily. So it's a lot more attractive to me now that it's on Mac OS.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing they came out with that made it viable. So I was someone who was thrilled because I didn't know this. I was a day one user. And I got my first Mac and I'm like, oh, it's a Mac app. I had no idea. It's fantastic. And you can have multiple journals in day one, which means you can have one of like all the movies and television shows you watched. And then you can have another one with all the wines you've tasted or something, or all the exercises you've done.
Yep.
This didn't have this ability, and now it will. And you can make multiple journals. And now on your Mac, I am going to switch.
Yep. All right.
But Marty brought up a really, really great point. And that is, I think, a generational thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I used to work with someone and I watched her use her phone as a preferential device over a very nice 27-inch iMac sitting in front of her. And it's like, I don't get this. And she was faster with the phone on the keyboard, in spite of the fact that it was, just a virtual keyboard. And it really did open my eyes to just what a difference. Because Marty, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm not going to sit down and try to type something out on my phone, especially a journaling thing. So we're right back to the comment that Jeff validated. That they're designing for different generations, and they're designing for the way people are using it now, and more likely going to use it in the future.
Yep.
Yeah. Think of yourself as an angsty 12-year-old girl, and you're sitting on your bed and going, "My mom stinks." Very nicely done on a phone.
That's good.
I never thought of that, Jill. Thank you.
That's a good one.
Fantastic.
I used to be an angsty 12-year-old at one point too. So anyway,
and your mom had hygiene problems?
it was all a lie. I never said anything about my mom, and I never was very angsty. But
yeah, I am doing a whole series of jokes in my head. Your mama's jokes. Your mama stinks so much. Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah, Dave's like, move us
quickly.
Next.
So, and also Parallels. Parallels Desktop's been my favorite desktop emulator of. It's been around forever. It's version 26. Hey, how ironic! It's synced right in line with Apple here. It adds support for macOS Tahoe and the Windows 11 2025 update. It just was released this past week, bringing some performance enhancements to the virtual software, including the full support now of the Tahoe operating system, which of course takes time as they test it. So the this also version is going to be fully compatible with Windows 11. Well, Windows 11's got 25 H2. A lot of people are still running 24 H2. The Windows VMs are now also going to be able to show actual available disk space on the Mac host, giving users better control of storage, preventing freezes and such shutdowns and stuff. They've also expanded a lot of things in IT admins. If you can be able to now monitor and manage macOS updates through inside the VMs, you can use Jamf or other MDMs to be able to handle that. So cool to see this. They're opening it with standard, pro, business, and enterprise editions now. So it's going to be more attractive for enterprise for sure. And I always enjoy. I've always enjoyed using it, and it's nice to have. So I can stay on top of things with Windows 11 and not have to leave my Mac. So, anybody want to add anything to that? All right.
It's a business critical app.
Yep, it sure is.
Virtual machines are super important for a lot of businesses. And
not only can you run Mac OS and Windows, you can run Linux. So there's another a great thing to have, because people may want to run a Linux version, and you can run pretty much any of the ARM-based Linux versions too. So you're running the ARM-based version of Windows as well, Windows 11, and Apple and Microsoft's been they've been supportive of that, because they know processors are changing. 64-bit and 32-bit, those old days, 32-bit applications, and Microsoft Office has finally moved to 64-bit. But of course, when you have companies that don't upgrade applications that are still running the cruddy backend on 32-bit, you can't upgrade it because it isn't going to work. So, but you need to be up to date. But that's another story for itself here. So let's talk about the event that was just announced. Apple has officially announced September 9th. Awe dropping is going to be held. It's definitely always an iPhone-centric event. Tuesday, September 9th. It's going to be at the Apple Park campus in Cupertino. According to the announcement that went out, the event will start at 10 a.m. Pacific, as always, and with select members of the media are invited to attend. So it's going to be, as we figured, it's going to be a pre-recorded conference, which is fine. Basically, we haven't talked too much about the rumors of what we're expecting with the iPhone, but it's pretty obvious. The iPhone 17 lineup is going to be out. 17 Air, we'll definitely be hitting on talking about that one because it's going to be a very smaller version of an iPhone than the 17 Pro, 17 Pro Max. I know I'll be going with the Max for sure when we're ready to pre-order. They're saying the 17 Air is going to be the thinnest and lightest iPhone display, and it will probably replace the Plus iPhone, which was never really a big seller as it was. Maybe our friend Brittany might like this phone because it's going to be smaller. We'll have to see, huh? Don't you guys think? Who knows?
I thought it was going to have a screen closer to the Plus size.
That's what I thought too. Yeah. So she may not like it.
So yeah, I don't think this is going to be a Brittany phone.
No, I don't think so either. But also iOS 26, iPadOS 26, all the beta testing you can anticipate they will announce. And usually what happens is that Monday before, so a week from this coming Monday as we record, we'll be there. But we'll definitely be covering it. And any thoughts about this event? Pre-event here that anybody want to touch on?
I'm having a hard time getting excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm reluctant at this point to make decisions about what I'm interested in the iPhone Air form factor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not interested in some of the stuff I'm going to lose by going to that form factor.
Yeah.
At the same time, they're going to be hard pressed to tell me why I would want to upgrade from a 16 Pro Max to a 17 Pro Max.
Because you can.
That becomes less important. And the thing is, I would just dump my 16 Pro Max, but since we're doing vision profiles and we're talking about spatial photography and spatial video, I'm not going to get that on the iPhone Air.
Right.
So I'm not happy about any of it, but
it definitely won't be a phone for me. I'm sticking. I love the Max. I can think Chuck is going to probably be the same feeling, right?
But Dave, it's the same old thing. I want to see what the 17 Pro Max brings and what the 17 brings. I very much have become addicted to the big screen. There was one model a little while back that I stepped back down, and I did miss the big screen, but I didn't miss the big screen and the extra weight in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So, it to me, it all comes down to what functions. Marty just said it best. What am I giving up? What am I getting or what am I giving up by moving from one model to the other?
Mm-hmm.
And not just within the number, but also from the 15 to the 16. The rumors abound. They've promised us pretty much everything that you could possibly think of.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the reality going to be?
Yep.
And I have been spending more time with my 16E because of the size, the weight, the less weight than the 16 Pro Max. And I got the 16 Pro Max hanging around, and I'm not doing the spatial photography or the spatial video that I should be doing with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really torn.
Yep.
It all comes down to colors. Nothing else really matters.
Well, you'd have to go with
nothing else, but
the 17.
A blaze orange phone. I'm all in on that.
You don't care what size.
Whatever it takes to get the color.
It won't be a Pro.
Eric, you sound like me, someone who's dropped an iPhone into the snow.
I want to be able to find it. Yeah.
No.
That's what Find My is for.
Not Find My.
Yeah, that's why I can't get the green one. I camp too much and then drop things on, and I'm like, everything's green.
It's in this field somewhere. I know.
Just put a cover on it.
Yeah. The thing that always dragged me out to the Max, and I have a 14 Pro Max that's going to get replaced this year, it was the camera, because I used to make a better camera on the Pro Max. And if that's going to happen this time, then I will buy the Pro Max again. But I am shooting for, I think, the Pro. Smaller pockets mean it just doesn't fit anymore. I don't travel for a living like I used to when I bought my 14, and there's just no real reason for me to have the giant phone anymore. I don't have it in my car sitting on a mount. I have CarPlay.
Right.
So Pro Max this year.
Yep. Anything else you want to add? All right. Well, I'll definitely be covering it. We'll have, I'm sure, lots of things that'll be talked about next week. And then when it comes out, when we have the event on the 9th, we'll definitely have a full recap after that. So a couple more things I want to talk about, some news stories as well. But I wanted to mention this. It was August 24th, 2011 is when Steve Jobs resigned as CEO of Apple, citing that he could no longer fulfill his duties and expectations. He was replaced by Tim Cook, who was the chief operating officer at the time and was elected chairman of the board. And we're just remembering that when that happened, and I remember, I think all of us remember it very vividly when that happened. I remember Tim Cook going on stage for the first time when he, and you could tell he was a little nervous. It wasn't something he was too used to doing public speaking, but boy, has he gotten a lot better, huh?
Yeah, same with Steve Jobs, though.
Yeah, that's true. At the beginning, you watch those old videos of Steve in the 90s, 80s and 90s, yeah.
Yeah, watching him throw a camera at one of his engineers in the audience during a keynote. And yeah.
So that was that's a bit of a memory here. So let's go a little bit of the news stories before we wrap up this week. So Apple TV Plus, if you don't know, I think it happened this past week. They are raising the price on Apple TV Plus, this individual subscription from $9.99 a month to $12.99 a month. It's coming in the next few days, but all of a sudden, when people cancel, you're getting this notification. Hey, you can get you can get the Apple TV Plus for 2 months at $5.99 until it goes up at $12.99 when the cost resumes. But I mean, just like anything else, I mean, things are going up in price. You look at all these streaming services; it doesn't matter who it is; they're raising prices on this stuff. I mean, I just saw Microsoft is not this little different comparison, but Microsoft 365 is now going up from the family plan was $99.99. Now it's going to be $129.99. I saw that the other day. I'm like, crap, I don't want to pay that, but I need it. I can't not have Office and what I do. So it is what it is, but things go up. Chuck, what do you think?
Charlotte Henry and I just did a TV Plus talk.
That's right.
That will be out tomorrow.
Good.
And we addressed this issue. And for me, it all comes down to the value.
Right.
Do you get the value out of it? I mean, I want to be careful here. This is just me. They could raise it to $20. And if I'm getting the value of it, then I'll pay it. Just like I wouldn't pay you a dime for ESPN. And that doesn't mean it's a bad service. It's that's just not my thing.
You're not a sports fan.
So, so take a good hard look at this and figure out. But when you look at the shows that are there, if you haven't tapped into some of the really great shows that have already been released, and if you look at what's coming in the next few months, and they keep announcing things that look very intriguing to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, I feel like they've sort of evolved to a point where they have enough of a catalog, both a back catalog and a current catalog, that they can slide into the range of some of the other big streaming services. And their hook is the quality of the shows. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you think about Netflix or maybe Disney, Disney obviously has Marvel and what's the other one? Star Wars. Yeah. And so, that's their big hook. In my opinion, Apple TV Plus's hook is, first of all, a great set of genre shows, but more importantly, just a great set of shows, top to bottom.
Jeff, your thoughts?
Chuck is spot on. It's about whether or not the value's there for you, and we're seeing the prices go up for all the streaming services.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea that if there's enough value in a streaming service to pay $20 for it, then you probably will. Which is how I realized there wasn't enough value in Netflix for me, because when they raised their rates earlier this year, was it? Late last year, whenever they did that, that was the tipping point. I'm like, yeah, not enough value for me to pay all that money to wait for a new season of Stranger Things or Wednesday, and I was out. But yes, Apple has increased their catalog quite a bit. They tend to have a higher percentage of quality programming compared to some other services. The thing is, this price increase, that's for people that are paying month to month. So if you're on a bundle, or if you're paying annually, your price is not increasing.
Right.
So this is kind of an incentive to get people to get into a bundle or pay for an annual subscription.
Yeah, for sure. Marty, you thoughts?
Just every 6 months or so, I go through and remember what streaming products I have.
A lot of them.
And most recently, it was BritBox. I was going to get inspired and watch all these British procedurals. And yeah, it is going up. And I realized I never had the time nor the memory to go, I think I'll sit down and watch some BritBox. Yeah. So that got dropped.
Sure.
Netflix, by creating their own little island, and because I can't pick them up through any of the other services, they're not on my Apple TV, they have disappeared. I keep forgetting that I have them, and so I never turn to them. So now it's time for me to look at that and go, what am I paying? What level am I paying with Netflix? Maybe I get it down to the lowest level and we stay there, because I've got to go there to find out what products and what shows I'm really interested in watching anymore on them. Aileen never brings up Netflix, so I don't think she's going to it at all.
Sure.
So that's the way it is.
It is. Jill, you have any thoughts?
I think because it comes with one, that's why I have it all the time. Before, I was pretty content with just every time I bought a gadget and it came with 3 free months of Apple TV, I'd watch whatever it was that was on, and then I would be done with it for a while, and then I'd buy another gadget and I'd watch it again.
Sure.
I tend to like the more nature shows and documentaries. I like the Ben Franklin piece and The World According to Jeff Goldblum. So some kind of weirder things that most people aren't really watching on there. But I enjoy it. And I think they've come out with great programming. And like you said, everything is going up. So
yep. Great. Eric, I'll wrap with you on this one.
Yeah, I've got the Apple One bundle, so I haven't noticed a change.
Yeah.
But I still like it because I can watch on all my different devices. I can, download an episode and have it on my device when I'm in a low signal area, and it plays at a decent resolution. I get closed captioning on movies. I get extras. There's a lot to just like with it, and I'm still a big Slow Horses fan, so
it's coming.
That's enough to kind of keep me going. And a bunch of new movies and series coming out, and soon. So
a lot of them coming out. Season 5 of Slow Horses is almost out, and then they definitely, I agree with that. So it's this streaming landscape right now is just crazy. I mean, there's just so much change, and YouTube TV battling to get Fox to sign back up with them and lose all that sports. It's just constant stuff with they're trying to get their money's worth out of stuff, and it's kind of a sad thing. We were so used to the way television was for all those years, and now Comcast has to reinvent itself. It's got to do a different. They find it took them long enough, but lose all the subscribers before they finally figure out they can't be making all that money on cable TV anymore. So I mean, it's going to continue to change, continue to evolve, and we're going to pay for it. That's the bottom line with this.
Dave,
go ahead.
I want to point out one thing.
Sure.
That I think the problem comes with. It happened with cable. I think it's happening now with the streaming services. That the bundles will give you some discounts if they're right for you, but for the most part, they're trying to get me to pay for something that I don't want,
right,
or don't value, because it's 100. I can get 120 channels. Yeah, but how many of those channels do I care about?
Exactly.
That's the thing. I mean, the Tiddlywinks channel, I don't care about. Somebody does, but I don't. And so
you clearly haven't watched Full Contact Tiddlywinks.
Oh,
I absolutely
missing out.
But so that to me is the thing, and it felt like that's what we were going to get. That we were going to have not micropayments, but reasonable payments. We could pick up the channels we wanted, and that was going to be it. And now it's back to the cable model, where they're selling it on the idea of more is better. And I don't want more. I want to pay for what I want.
Sure.
And that's it, because I already have a backlog of stuff I want to watch.
Oh my God. There's so much I want to watch on Apple TV Plus, and then it's endless. It's absolutely endless. So what's out there? So go ahead.
We've been doing is buying box sets off of Apple TV and just buying the whole series.
Okay.
And, just saying we're not going to watch it on whatever streaming thing it's on, and just buy the whole series and then watch it and not have to subscribe to anything.
What's a box set cost, Jill?
They depend, and Apple puts them on sale regularly.
Yeah.
So, Black Friday, that we just got done with a big sale. We're having some movies right now, but box sets can be as low as $14 and as high if you're looking at Game of Thrones and something with many seasons, Breaking Bad, $99. But even those will go on sale. And if you just wait it out, hey, you're probably looking at $30-$40 for the whole series.
Yep.
I buy a lot of content on Apple TV, which is making me rethink the streaming piece. So, for example, with BritBox, the reason on BritBox, I can get all the Perot. Well, I can go on Apple TV and buy the whole box set of Perot, and then I don't have to worry about BritBox anymore, because that's one of the reasons why I went to BritBox.
Sure.
Or is it Acorn TV? I can never remember where
both
Perot
of those
is, but
Acorn,
I agree with Jill. I agree with Jill in the sense that look at it in terms of your investment of, well, of course, we really don't own them. We just rent them. So, yeah. Sorry, Jeff.
Nope, that's okay, because what I was saying I realized is actually irrelevant. But what I have to say now, Jill, the whole box set thing, I have been seriously rethinking how I'm buying content that I want to watch like that. And I have been going and looking at physical media again for a lot of this, simply because there's a whole thing of, well, I've bought it digitally so I can stream it anytime I want. But that doesn't mean I have something that I own that I can play whenever I want. It means I get to have a license to stream this box set
whenever
that
you
I paid $100 for, all the way up until the distributor, the studio, whoever decides that it's not going to be available anymore.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but we've seen someone, I can't think of the episode, but say like Star Trek, the old generation, right? The original Star Trek.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's not appropriate anymore.
Nope.
So we yanked that episode. And
Right.
and you don't know what
Right.
thing is going to be where they're going to yank an episode here and there.
Yeah.
Or cut that scene out, or put
good
those
example.
things in Star Wars that don't belong there.
Good example, Twilight Zone. Everybody loves Twilight Zone, right? But that one episode, Talking Tina, Telly Savalas. If you remember that episode where the doll is, it gets pretty cruel. Yeah, they've edited that episode because it just got. They thought it was too graphic, but it was fine.
There's some irony and it's also kind of disturbing that a show that could air, that would have been what, the 1960s?
Right.
1950s, 1960s?
60s.
50s, I think.
And now it's too graphic for television.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So one last story I wanted to hit here. Apple Music Radio is now going to be on TuneIn, which I thought this was interesting. Apple's 6 radio stations will now be available outside Apple Music app for the very first time via TuneIn. Wall Street Journal reported this. Starting today as we record this, Apple Music Hits, Apple Music Country, Apple Musica, and Uno, and Apple Music Club, Apple Music Chill will all be available to TuneIn's 75 million monthly active users. The stations continue to feature no commercials. A link inside the TuneIn app and on its website directs users right to Apple Music. TuneIn, if you don't know, is a cross-platform internet-based radio service that let users stream live radio stations, music channels, news, sports, podcasts all over the world. Of course, you got to pay for it. I paid for it for a little while, but then it got a little too expensive for me because a lot of stuff is over the air. A lot of places play a lot of these radio stations. So I just think Apple's just looking to get music out there even further. What are your thoughts on this? We'll go with Jill first.
I was surprised by that because I liked TuneIn. And like you said, a long time ago, I used to have a subscription to it. But it's interesting to me that Apple is deciding to go to another pay service. So I'm intrigued, but, I don't know.
What are your thoughts?
I think it's good marketing for Apple. I think they might not have been for Apple Music as a whole service. Mm-hmm. Folks who are into TuneIn might not be that aware of the possibilities, and you put those 6 stations up there, and then they go, "Oh, I kind of dig this. Let me check out what Apple Music does as a subscription-based service." And so, I don't think Apple's losing anything in this deal. I think they have the potential to gain more in terms of new listeners or new people interested in the product.
Right. Jeff, any thoughts? I know one thing you probably want to come is Apple Classical, right?
Right. When are we going to get Apple Classical on the Mac?
Yeah.
But anyhow, the thing with this new thing with TuneIn, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, me too.
Even though I was kind of surprised to hear it was happening, when I thought about it, I'm like, oh yeah, it makes sense. So go out to the general public. Anecdotally, when I talk to people about what streaming music service they like, they're on Spotify, and they say because it's better than Apple Music. And when I say what makes it better than Apple Music, either they don't know, or it's something like, well, I can do more with my playlists. I mean, that's usually what I hear. Okay, that's valid. But then the other thing I'll hear is, well, there's so much more on Spotify, which is actually not true.
True. Yeah.
And then Spotify also has the problem where you tell it, hey, I want to listen to this kind of music. And a lot of what you're going to hear is made up garbage, like actual garbage content that they're having produced to sound similar to the artists that you want to hear.
Yep.
But it's Spotify's own content, which means the amount of money they're paying back out to artists goes down dramatically. Spotify's kind of a crappy company, the way they treat artists.
It is.
And they don't have the breadth of music that Apple does.
Right.
So Apple needs to aggressively get out there in front of their potential audiences and let those audiences see that Apple has value in the streaming music space.
Yep. Chuck, your thoughts?
When I saw this, I kind of had double thoughts. I thought, okay, this is a great promo to give people a taste of Apple Music. And then I thought, you know what? If these radio stations satisfy your particular listening needs, why are you going to bother to subscribe to Apple Music if you can get them for free? So to me, it's a double-edged sword.
Mhm.
First of all, I'm a much more intentional listener, and I don't remember the last time I listened to radio of any kind, streaming or terrestrial.
Yeah.
So, but I do know a lot of people that use this kind of thing as wallpaper, sonic wallpaper, and they may be fine. And does that steal subscribers from Apple Music? I don't know.
Nah, I don't think so. You get the final word, Eric.
I think just getting Apple Music out there as a choice and maybe getting a few coffee shops or somewhere else to use it as the source of their music is worth everything. Because otherwise, there are people that just aren't going to encounter it.
Yep. All right. So before we wrap up, I wanted to make sure I mentioned MacStock. MacStock 9 has ended, but the digital pass is now available. You should go check it out. It's got all the great sessions we did from July 11th through the 13th of this year in 2025. All on-demand recordings are available. You can watch them whenever you like. I went and reviewed my talk, and it's like, boy, that was a pretty good talk, I must say. I know, a little self-righteous, but
It was.
yeah, I thought it was, yes. But there's so many great talks in there, Jeff, Chuck, Marty, Jill, all of us here, many of us here spoke, and there's some great places to go and watch and check out. So you may learn a few things too. So, but go to macstockconferenceandexpo.com. We have a link in the show notes here. It's not a bad deal at all. Support MacStock. Get that digital pass. It's ready to go. And Mike Potter just finished it like a week or two ago, and it's great to see. He had a bit of challenges with some of the videos, but he did a great job. I watched a number of them, and it's great and well worth the value. So again, go to max.conferenceandexpo.com, click the link in our show notes, and purchase that digital pass. And I'm sure everybody here highly recommends it. So please go out there and do that. So with that, let's go ahead and wrap up for this week. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, suggestions to our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on BlueSky and Mastodon at intouchwithios. Support the show. Buy me a coffee at intouchwithios.com. We really appreciate it. You also can become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers available to support the show. We'd really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you're notified when we're live streaming. It's on YouTube at Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/intouchwithios. I also mentioned, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we're now utilizing Ecamm Live, and I think it really worked out really well. I'm so excited about this. And we also were streaming tonight on LinkedIn and on my LinkedIn page, as well as on Facebook. And I'm going to explore other places to stream, so we'll get more places that everybody can watch the show. But if you go to youtube.com/intouchwithios, that's the place where you're going to be able to see the live stream. We're going to leave that up and see all the great fancy graphics we've got on here now. It's going to be really cool. And you can listen to past shows as well. You can go to In Touch with iOS magazine on Flipboard, where many of the articles we talk about are flipped in that magazine. The link is in our show notes. You can listen to the show through your favorite podcatcher, including Pocket Casts, Overcast, and Apple Podcasts, and many others. But better yet, just go to our website, which is intouchwithios.com, where all the ways to listen to us are there. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on BlueSky and Mastodon at DaveG65. And we'll reverse it here. And Jill McKinley, so glad you're here. Where can people find you?
Thank you for having me. You can find me. My main podcast is Start with Small Steps, and then I have another one that's Nature, which is Buzz, Blossom, and Squeak, and they're both on podcast and now on YouTube. And I'm also doing Ecamm, and on the Start with Small Steps, I started doing live episodes, which is
nice.
A hoot too, so you can join in.
All right. Thanks for being here, Jill. Appreciate it. Eric Bolden, so glad you were here this week. Where can people find you?
It's great to be here. I can be found on Mastodon at eabolden@mas.to. On Mondays on Vision Profiles, Tuesdays on Mac Voices, Thursdays here and In Touch with iOS, so I cover all my OS bases throughout the week.
Yes, you do. Thanks again for being here. Appreciate it. Marty Jencius, thank you for being here, and appreciate you being here as well. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Mastodon.social or BlueSky at Jencius, Jencius. Both of those locations. Vision Profiles on Monday nights with Dave and Eric at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We start streaming on YouTube. Also on Mac Voices here on Thursdays, and In Touch with iOS on Tuesdays with Chuck and the gang. And the rest of the projects I do you can find at thepodtalk.net, which is my website for podcasts.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Jeff Gamet, thank you for being here. Where can people find you?
Dave Ginsburg. It's great to be here. Okay, you can find me on social medias, Gamet, pretty much everywhere. I'm doing most of my posting right now on Mastodon. Wow, that shouldn't have been that difficult to come up with that word. Mastodon, BlueSky, and PixelFed. Then for shows, Chuck lets me join in on Mac Voices Live on Tuesdays. Dave, thank you for letting me join in on In Touch with iOS here on Thursdays. I also, for the British Tech Network, am on The Big Show and The Mac Show. Then Brian Chaffin and I, we do The Context Machine, and Patrice Brendamore and I do Retro Rewatch.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Really appreciate it. Last but certainly not least, Chuck Joyner. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Where can people find you?
Hey, Dave, thank you so much for having me. MacVoices.com is where you can find all of the conversations we have from the live show on Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, on youtube.com/MacVoicesTV, along with all the other dedicated interviews that I do with a lot of interesting people. So check it out and check me out on social media as at Chuck Joyner. Thanks as always, Dave.
Appreciate it. And thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I think you had a blast, and this is a great way to watch on all of these social media video content here. We're going to have some fun doing this in the next few weeks and continue on, hopefully. But until then, we'll be back next week. And thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And we'll talk again soon.